Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this meeting of the Denby Parish Council Planning Committee on the 29th of May 2024. And welcome to members of the public who will have an opportunity to speak to us shortly, but first we have some domestic business to do. And item 1 on the agenda is apologies, and none are necessary because everybody's here. And welcome to our new but old members who've been on before and are back on with us. Thank you. Item 2, declaration of interest. Anybody who wishes, arising with this agenda, members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interest. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest during the meeting. Any declarations of interest? I will make a declaration on case number 828, the Meadow. Members will know I also live in the Meadow, and if I crane my neck to the left out of one of my windows, I can actually see 28, but I don't know them, and it's sufficiently far away for me not to have any interest in it, other than I live in the same street. So I'll just mention that, just to clarify.
It's not a declared interest.
Well, no, okay. There is no interest, but I'm declaring it because I'm in the same street, and people may wonder whether I should have done.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, to be absolutely clear, I can't actually see the house, but I know where it is. Number 3, minutes of the previous meeting. Receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on the 8th of May. Those members who were present have any comments thereon? Now, show of hands then for those who are happy for me to sign them as a true record. Thank you. That's unanimous from those of us who were there. Richie did include me. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for shutting the door, Councillor Clay. Right, item 4 is to elect a vice chairman for the planning committee for the municipal year 24-25. I have any nominations, please? Councillor Anker-Smith.
And I nominate Councillor Jones.
Oh, thank you. Councillor Berry and Councillor Carson, willing to second? Okay, so have a formal show of hands then for those who have. Oh, sorry, I should ask, does anybody else wish to be nominated or wish to nominate anybody? Didn't think they would be, which is why. Can we have a formal show of hands then that Councillor Jones is elected as my vice chair? Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Item 5 is the Planning Committee project report, which everybody has circulated. And we thank Joe for the report. I don't know if anybody's got any comments on it at all. There's a couple of things there which says our change of regulation, loss of trees item, which was that I was to write to our MP and prospective MP. I did so. Neither member's office has even acknowledged the letter, which was on heading notepaper. So I may well try again after July the 4th. The other one was about the closure of Green Meadows Care Home, which I noticed down to me to write to HCC. I have not yet done so, because we were exploring other avenues at one point, which and Councillor Langford-Smith did actually get a response, I think, from somebody at HCC regarding the Green Meadows.
I did.
Yeah.
I circulated that to you.
Yeah. So I haven't actually formally written to them, but we'll do so now. Winchester's elections are over and Hampshire's elections are over, even though that didn't affect us. We can now actually write to the appropriate portfolio holder, and we note that the chairman of Hampshire has resigned, and there is to be a new one, or it already is, I think.
Already is.
Yeah. Right, okay, so that's my comments on the report. Thank you, Joe. Moving on then to item 6, which is the public participation session. Meeting will recess for not more than 15 minutes to allow any members of the public to address the meeting. There are rules to the session which I will ask the clerk to read to you.
The Parish Council, via this committee, comments and makes recommendations on planning applications affecting the parish. Proceedings during the public session, which will only exceed 15 minutes in exceptional circumstances, must remain under the control of the chairman, to whom all questions and comments on applications or other planning matters must be addressed. All comments on planning applications should be made to the head of planning management at Winchester City Council.
Thank you very much. I will now go through the list of planning applications to be discussed this evening. This is for members of the public the opportunity to talk to us about them. If you are here for an application but don't wish to speak, please let us know, because we rearrange the order so you don't have to sit through everyone. We will endeavour to accommodate people's interest. I know at least one member of the public's here for a particular application. So number 1 on the list is Denmead Parish Council's application, street record, Forest Road, Denmead. It's actually on the footpath from Peakfield to the Willows, to the actually it says the rear of 32 the Willows. I think it's actually the front of 32 the Willows, and that's to prune an oak tree back to previous pruning points. Does anybody here wish to comment on that one? No. Okay, thank you. Number 2 is 12 the Spinney Parklands Business Park, Ground Control Limited, reduce and reshape trees to 14 metres above ground level, 2 semi-mature oaks, 1 ash tree, 2 cherry trees, and this is to clear them away from the telephone mast, which is about to be upgraded, the one that's on Parklands. And do you want to comment on that one? No? Okay, thank you. Number 3 is Mr. and Mrs. Chapman's application at 1 Providence Villas, Soak Road, for a T1 oak, reduce the lowest branch and the adjacent branch above to the east, which extend out of the average canopy shape in length by approximately 1.5 to 2 metres, retaining the shape and habit of the species. And the lowest limb to the east has a cavity close to the branch union at around 3 metres. And they're basically proposing to deal with that. Additionally, there are raised levels of minor deadwood. A reduction in the length has been recommended to remove some end weight and the stress to the decayed part of the branch. Anybody want to comment on that one? No. Okay, thank you. Moving on then to number 4, which is Fir Trees, Fursley Corner, Denmead, Mr. White's application for a proposed timber garage with pitched roof. Good evening, sir. Announce your name.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Octavius Longcroft Wheaton. I live at Rosecroft, Fursley Corner. I'm pretty much representing my father, where he seems his mobility-wise unable to make it here, who lives next door at Brookside, Fursley we have had a huge amount of flooding in our garden this year. In the winter, the standard level when it rained was between half a foot and a foot deep. Now this is opposite the area that the proposed timber frame is going to be. And when we had the rain a month or two back, we completely flooded through the house. Thousands of pounds worth of damage. Now this hasn't happened to us here throughout my time living here. It hasn't been noted in the area for 25 years, the state of flooding, and we are just getting huge amounts of hard coring, and with the extensive building, I don't particularly think a garage visually is a problem for me. The risk for my father of flooding is huge, I feel. You know, there's going to be, looking at the plans, a huge area that's going to be is hardcore at the front for parking. It doesn't necessarily need to have it down the side as well to where the garage will be, which is set quite far back. And that's going to be more compounded hardcore to the drive up to it. I think it's going to be suspended if I'm correct. But the risk of putting morphing there, so there's no soak away. Winchester for some reason allowed the footings of the original building to remain in place until the other one was built, which is so far at the moment doubles the concreted floor space, and I feel that was quite heavily responsible for the amount of flooding that we're getting. So beforehand, water never came back till right towards the very back of our garden. But throughout the winter, when the work was being carried out and the foundations were in, it came right up to within 50 yards of the house. And as I say, when we had the heavy rain, it just went straight through, ruined all the wooden floors, everything. And my father, his mobility nowadays is very, very poor. He can just about manage to get around on the Zimmer frame. And so he can't go upstairs if something floods completely through the house. He's just left them soaking wet. And every time it rains now, I mean, he's 80, he's coming up 83 this year. He's absolutely terrified we're going to have more flooding through the property because of this. It wasn't put there to start with. I think it wasn't put there to start with because it was known to be rejected. If it was put through with the main plans, so as we see in the area, one thing's put through for, next thing's put through for, and another thing's put through for, and I'm just really, really concerned that this continual hardcoring of the ground is going to severely, well, make the property uninsurable in the end. I don't know what else to say other than that. It's absolutely terrifying thinking we're going to flood again.
Yeah. For those members who don't know, the house in question has a part of Main River the other side of it, which is where the water's coming from.
So I just say the water didn't actually come from the stream, it actually came from Closewood Road on Mr Watterson.
Oh, okay.
It actually came from the other direction, Thursday Corner.
Yeah.
So the water came down from Brookside to us, and the stream was taking the water away.
Okay, well, I accept that. I can do nothing but accept your word that that's happened. So I certainly assumed that it was the stream flooding up. But
No,
okay,
the house particularly has been built so the water actually goes through the underneath of the house, so that the actual footprint of the house doesn't cause any problems. And the only hard core that will be put down is whatever builder control make us put down. Otherwise it will be all soft landscape.
It exists anyway.
Okay. Any questions from either of our members of the public, from any of the councillors? No. Okay. We will discuss the case shortly. Number 5 on the list is Mr. and Mrs. McNally's application at Hunter's Moon, Hamilton Road, for a single-storey side extension. Somebody wish to speak about that one? Nope. Okay. Number 6 is Mr. M. Hinton's application at Elvira House, Parklands Business Park, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, works to about 14 or 15 trees. I won't enumerate them all. I might have to later, but I won't at the moment. Does anybody wish to comment on that application? No. Okay, thank you. Fumbling with my paper. Number 7 is Mr. D. Nichols' application at 30 Old River to crown lift to 6 metres, a oak tree, remove epicomic growth to a height of 6 metres, prune north, south, east and west branches by 2 metres back to previous pruning points to provide 2 metre clearance from buildings to the north and south whilst maintaining the tree balance. Anybody wish to comment on that one? Nope. Okay. The next one then is number 8, Mr. and Mrs. D. Noble's application at 28 The Meadow, Denmead for a single-storey rear extension with external alterations following demolition of a sun lounge. Does anybody wish to comment on that one? Nope. Okay. And then finally, there is number 9, Mr. C. Raymond's application at St. Margaret's Forest Road, hip to gable loft conversion with additional dormers to east elevation, rear extension following demolition of conservatory, and replace existing detached garage with an attached garage. Anybody wish to comment on that one?
Yeah, we're here to listen to your comments.
Okay, thank you very much. And okay, and is there anything else on the agenda anybody wishes to comment on? Okay, well that means then that if with members' permission, members' agreement, we will deal with case number 4 and then case number 9 and then revert to the standard order. So the first one therefore will be Mr. White's application for Fir Trees, Fursley Corner, Denmead, for a timber garage with pitched roof. The only, as far as I can see, Fir Trees is Fursley Corner. It's opposite as you go down Fursley Corner going towards or going out of the village effectively. It's one of the later houses on the right hand side, and as I already mentioned, there's a stream, part of Main River next to it, and across the road from it is the golf course, part of the golf course. Brookside, as you can see, our other visitors' residence is next to it. The only place where it appears to show, as far as I can see, what is actually proposed, Councillor Langford-Smith, if you could pull it up, is the flood risk document. And if you scroll down several pages,
Tell me when to stop, Chair.
Appendix B.
oh yeah, it's in the appendices. It's basically showing the various type of flood risks in the area. If we keep going, we're
Keep going.
up, is it up or down? I think it's. I was.
Pending.
No,
There it is.
Hang on. I think you've gone.
If you can go next one down,
Yeah.
keep going down and it will come to the plan of the site.
There we go. As far as I could see, that was the only place which actually showed what was applied for in what was on the Winchester website. Dr. Wheaton's comments are on the Winchester website. Oh, he's not here. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yeah.
And so anyway, the application is for the garage shown there. Obviously there will need to be some means of access to it. It is a timber garage with a pitched roof. I'm not sure we have actually got a document showing what it would look like, I think. But that was the only one I could find that showed where it would be. Whether it should have been something else. There it is down that one as well. I apologise. And that's the old building which the neighbour has commented is still there, and he believes is causing problems with flooding in the area. But that's the proposed garage, and there's the plan and elevations of the proposal. Yeah. Okay. I was in error. My memory showed me that it was the only place where it was shown was in the flood risk plan, but it is on that map, that elevation as well. And you can actually see the next door neighbour's house in the right-hand photograph there, and the house being built. That's about the facts of the matter, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions on the facts? Sorry, Councillor Jones.
To be removed, that's obviously on hard standing. Is that to be removed as well?
That would have been on the previous planning application, and I'd not looked at that one. I will open the public session and ask the owner.
The building that's there currently with the green roof, that's already partially demolished.
And it's the basics
The whole bit is going back to grass.
Okay.
And the garage will be designed so water can actually flow through it should it flood, not create additional problems.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll close the public session again. I acknowledge the neighbour. Having read the flood risk assessment document, it does actually talk about the fact that the fir trees, the building and the garage will be effectively raised above or immune to flooding. Unfortunately, it doesn't help the next door neighbours. I won't argue the matter of which way the water came, which way it's coming regularly. But anyway, from the from the planning point of view, we are asked to approve a wooden garage or comment on a wooden garage alongside the old building, effectively to the rear of the new building. Councillor Langford-Smith.
Oh, your opinion?
I think nobody's asked any further questions on things, so yes, opinion.
I appreciate that in the short term, with the base still there and a new shed being built, that it may exacerbate issues. But I think in the longer term, because the existing building is to be demolished and the base removed, and the new garage is smaller than the existing one, it should actually help with absorption of water on land.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments? Was that proposal then, Councillor Langford-Smith?
Unless anyone else has any comments.
Well, nobody appeared to. Councillor Garsden.
Are there not any flood protection measures that can be taken for the neighbour? If the land that has been surface runoff as opposed to main river.
We're not in a position. Neither will Winchester's planners be in a position to make any judgment on whether or not measures to help next door I don't see how they can be enforced on the applicant. The situation is unfortunate, but we are here to judge on purely on planning matters, and we have an application for a wooden garage with a pitched roof. So I take Councillor Langford-Smith's statement as a proposal. Somebody want to second the proposal? Yes, thank you, Councillor Jones. So we then have a proposal to that we can have no objection to a timber garage at this site. Can I have a show of hands of those in favour of that application? Okay, and against? Abstain. So one abstention, the rest in favour. We will move on then to Mr. Raymond's application at St Margaret's Forest Road for a hip to gable loft conversion with addition of dormers to the east elevation, rear extension, following demolition of conservatory, and replace existing detached garage with an attached garage. St Margaret's Forest Road is, as you come from the roundabout by the Harvest Home, heading down Forest Road towards Waterlooville, it is the second dwelling on the right, and it's immediately after it there is a field, there are some full plans there. I also took a couple of photographs for people to jog their memory. So, as you can see, the site has been prepared. And I think the other one's about more or less the same, Councillor Langford-Smith. So if we return to the plans and elevations, it's as you can see, it's a fairly small bungalow, and as is fairly common these days, the application is to convert it into a somewhat larger two-storey dwelling. There are some elevations as well, Councillor. Yeah, just scrolling down. Keep going. Here you go. Here we go. So that's the current. Up top left is the current view. Top right is the proposed, and then we have the side view facing the field, followed by the proposed side view. And if you scroll a bit further, Councillor, thank you, then there's the rear, which effectively I think faces the field, then the bottom two pictures show the side facing the thatched house or thatched cottage right on the corner of Bunkers Hill and Forest Road, though there is hedgerow etc. between it. And as you've already shown, Councillor, the proposed layout is further up. There's the view. So there's vegetation behind and to the side, but no longer to the side by the field. If you scroll back up, if you could, please, Councillor, then we can see the plans. Yeah. So on the left is the current situation with the garage set behind, and on the right is the proposal with a fairly large extension and a built-in garage. Any questions from anybody on the facts of the matter? think the elevations show it quite well. Councillor Brown?
In the proposal, it has a biodiversity checklist, and it says about habitat for bats and other species. Previous to this application, all the trees down the left-hand side of this property, and some down the back, I think, some quite substantial trees were removed.
Yes.
And it says that no trees or hedgerows will be affected.
Yeah, but as we can see from the photograph, they have been. Yeah. Anybody else on the facts of the matter? No. Okay. Opinions then? Councillor Langford-Smith.
I note Councillor Brown's comments, and yeah, clearly significant trees have been felled. Whilst I think that is very sad, they wouldn't have been able to do this extension with those trees there. Just digging the foundations, because we're on clay, it would have destroyed the tree's roots. And I can't see any material reason that we would object to this.
Councillor Brown.
It actually says in the application form, trees and hedges. Are there any trees and hedges on the property or adjoining properties which are within falling distance of the proposed development? Clearly these were removed prior to this planning application going in, because it wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments, opinions? I would just comment that having removed all the hedgerow and the trees, which may have been necessary, and a large amount of the vegetation at the front of the property, which used to be hedged, it will be now be very easy to produce a 10% increase in the biodiversity on the site, because there's practically no biodiversity on the site as it stands. Councillor Langford-Smith.
I found out the other day, Chair, the 10% net biodiversity gain does not apply to households that are already built. It's purely for new builds.
Yeah, which seems rather pointless. But
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Curzon.
See, if this application was coming in with the hedgerow and the trees in place, we'd be having a very, very different discussion. I really, I feel about the trees. It really concerns me that we're giving a green light to anybody within the parish who's got an idea to extend that the trees or the hedgerows are in the way, to get rid of them and then apply. And I think we've got a real issue in Denmead.
I don't think it's just Denmead.
But at what point are we actually, as a council, going to say, yes, it may not be a planning consideration now, but net biodiversity gain must be restored.
Yeah, Councillor Brown.
It does actually it does say about biodiversity net gain in this application form.
Saying. It's a while since I read it, so.
Paragraph 13 of Schedule 7A. Are you able to bring it up on the? If you look at the application form.
Oh, sorry, the biodiversity checklist? Or
No, on the application form itself. If you scroll down, you'll get to trees and hedges. Carry on down, you'll get parking and biodiversity net gain.
Which is already anybody else, but I can't read from that distance. Yeah. Here's one of these. The permission is granted. This application relates to the biodiversity gain condition would not apply. Well, Councillor Langford-Smith has just told us that. Councillor Langford-Smith.
The only way that we could try and future-proof preservation of trees is through the neighbourhood plan, and actually putting a condition in the neighbourhood plan that if we see that trees are removed prior, then we'll have a strong objection to applications. They will not be received well.
Councillor Carson.
If there's no reasons to reject the plan because they've destroyed the trees in the hedgerows, I think we should make it a condition that they restore hedgerow and plant trees within the curtilage of the property.
Well, we can ask that Winchester do so.
Can you make that a condition?
Well, we can ask Winchester, but Winchester do so, we can't.
Yes.
From the point of view of of the complete planning, the plans as put forward, I don't think there's any reason that we have for objecting to them on planning regulations. So I propose that we say we have no objection, but would request that Winchester put in conditions on the application that the biodiversity which has been removed is replaced after the extension is completed. Councillor Labour-Smith?
Can we please send your photographs with the comment?
I'm sure the clerk can do that. Yes, Councillor Brown?
Can we also send a street from a street view? Because street view will show that property how it was. You could barely see the house.
Okay. Anyway, and we have a show of hands then for those who... Well, sorry, somebody going to second my... Councillor Jones, thank you. We have a show of hands then from those who have no objection but would request those conditions. And... okay. One against and the rest for. Okay. Thank you. You okay with that, Joe?
Yep.
All right, okay. Well, thank you to the members of the public. You're free to stay and listen to the rest, or you can... Oh, okay, you all decided. Good night.
Joe, I will send you the picture.
Okay.
I believe Councillor Brown has the Google Street View image.
I can soon have it.
Okay, moving on then, ladies and gentlemen, back to number 1, which is our application to prune a tree it's on the edge of the green lane between Peakfield and the Willows, and we're applying to prune back to the previous pruning points. Yes, Councillor?
And I suggest that we support our own application.
Well, we normally do. Yes, Councillor Carson?
Reminded why you're approving it.
Basically because it's getting very close to number 32 and number 31.
Tree maintenance programme.
So it's part of our maintenance programme. It's also over a greenway, so while they're doing the pruning, they will take any dead wood that could possibly fall on the green lane, or greenway rather. But yeah, I think it's as a result of comments from residents that it's getting rather close to their house or houses. So I don't have didn't actually take a photograph. So we have a proposal which I will second, that we support our own application to do works to this tree. Those in favour? Thank you. That was unanimous. Number 2 is Ground Control Limited application. It's labelled at 12 the Spinney, and we had this one about 2 months ago and couldn't follow it, and it turns out that though for some reason it's labelled as 12 the Spinney, it's nowhere near 12 the Spinney. It's I took some photographs. It's behind the Spinney, behind the buildings the other side of the Spinney. Those are the application photographs labelled T1 and T2 to 3, and the other photographs there are the ones I took on Monday. And so you could see the building with the foam tower behind, and as you go around the back you can see there are some trees that are quite close to it. I know insufficient about mobile phone masts to know what, if any, effect the trees will have other than getting in the way while they're trying to modify it. Anyway, we are asked to consider reduction and reshaping of trees to 14 metres above ground level, 2 semi-mature oaks reducing from 22 to 14 metres, 1 ash from 25 to 14, and 2 cherries from 18 metres to 14, so that Vodafone O2 Telefonica can modify the mast without having to worry about the trees. Good. Councillor Labour-Smith?
The pruning seems to be quite significant, but I would suggest that we leave it to Mr Bartlett, Winchester's tree officer.
Councillor Brown?
I'll second that.
Okay, can I have a show of hands then for those who leave it to the tree officer? That's unanimous, thank you. Yes, 22 metres to 14 on oak trees does seem rather excessive, but we don't really know what they're like, for one thing. Okay, number 3 is 1 Providence Villas, Soak Road. This one came up in March and was withdrawn, as was the previous one we've just discussed. I've actually used the photographs I took in March. Providence Villas, you go up Soak Road, you get onto the straight bit going north up at Soak Road, and Providence Villas, the first house you come to, which is well after Jewson's. It's quite a way up.
It's next door to the aquatic place, I think.
Sorry?
Next door to the aquatic.
Yes, it's next door to the aquatic place, as you say, Councillor Brown. I think this one was probably withdrawn in March because the tree officer had possibly made suggestions as to what they could do. But that's the tree, and the application is to deal with overly long branches, effectively, and one that has some decay in it. And I seem to remember... sorry, Councillor Brown?
I was going to propose we leave this to the tree officer as well as his...
I believe we did back in March, yes, so I'll second that. Show of hands then for those who are happy to leave it to the tree officer. Okay, thank you. Where are we now? Number 5 is Hunter's Moon, Hambledon Road. Mr. and Mrs. McNally's construction of a single-storey side extension, and there are plans that can be shown. Councillor Langford-Smith, when you close down all the rest. And while I'm at it, Hunter's Moon is across the road from here in the little gravelled cul-de-sac. No, it's not a cul-de-sac. The gravelled area where the houses are behind the trees facing Hambledon Road, but they're not particularly obvious as you drive past coming up towards the old school. And there's the location. Hambledon Road is there, just at the bottom there, and they have a gravelled drive going past those houses. And that particular shot that shows where it is there, and so it's a 4x3 or 4x2. I know it's 4 metres long. Small. It doesn't actually give the. Oh, see, there's 1650. So it's 4 metres by 1.65 metres. It's ground floor extension, which, as we can see, is for a effectively a ground floor bath, shower, and Councillor Brown.
This cuts off the garage. They will have that access down. The house is a semi.
Yeah.
So they will have what is left of that driveway to access the whole of their rear garden, including a garage which they have in the rear garden already, and another building at the back of the property which you can see in the red outline.
Yeah. There is parking across the gravel pathway, or gravel road, and parking in front of the house itself. So I would opine, I suppose, that they have sufficient parking for the size of house. We don't have any details of circumstance, but that would appear to be possibly be future-proofing the house. What they do with the land and the buildings behind is not a planning matter in that sense. So I can't really see what any planning reason why we would object. So I propose that we have no objection. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's unanimous, thank you. Okay. The next one, number 6, is Mr. M. Hinton's application at Alvaro House, Parklands Business Park, to prune, was it 17 trees? Or actually fell some.
No.
Yeah, oh, thank you. 9, it fell 9 of them, was it? I did actually go up there on Monday afternoon and endeavour to photograph them. I can't read the titles from here, but basically there are a few overhanging, a few dying, and a few that need some pruning, and it's several oaks, including felling a couple, 2 or 3. Councillor Brown, are you going to make the obvious suggestion that we? It was interesting that the plan they gave us included what 3 words, locations. And I still struggle to find the tree because I'd not actually tried before to walk to a square labelled by what 3 words, and it's not as easy as you might think. Anyway, Councillor Brown is proposing, and I second the fact that we leave it to the tree officer, and good luck to him trying to find some of them. So I'll show of hands then for those who are happy to leave it to the tree officer. Mr. Bartlett's going to have fun. Anyway. Thank you all. Okay, Joe? Mm-hmm. Number 7 is 30 Old River, Denmead, Mr. D. Nichols, crown lift to 6 metres from ground level, an oak tree. A tree is a naturally high crown. Remove epicormic growth to height of 6 metres. Prune north, south, east and western branches back by 2 metres to previous pruning points to provide 2 metre clearance from buildings. And I took a photograph or 2 on Sunday, and I've lost count of how many times I've been to this particular tree, because every so often it comes back for repruning. I must have been to that one at least 6 times in my time. So there it is. It's a very large tree, and eventually hopefully the other foot. There we go. No, I thought there was another one. I think there is another photo, Councillor, which was, seems to be having trouble pulling him up. Except I took one slightly closer. That is closer, but you can see it. It's overhanging. You can't quite see that it's overhanging the house that I'm stood beside, but it is quite close to 3 houses. Councillor Brown?
I'm quite happy to make the same proposal of the tree officer. I think 6 metres high is extremely high.
I'm not sure what it. I note your comment, and it's very difficult to there, but the lower bit of that vegetation you can see on that photograph is actually the epicormic growth. It has been pruned to that sort of height. I can't say for sure that it was 6 metres in the past, but it has been pruned up to a fair height in the past, and it is a very, very large tree. Councillor Jones, you had a...
I'm just going to say that it's obviously been pruned in the past to those points and hasn't caused any damage to it because it's certainly grown extremely well, so I would think no objection.
Well, I think Councillor Brown had already proposed that we leave it to the tree officer. Had you not? Or had you?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
in which case, those in favour of leaving it again to the tree officer, because it is a huge tree and we certainly won't want to lose it. Okay, Joe, thank you. And then Mr. and Mrs. D. Noble's application at 28 The Meadow, Denmead, single-storey rear extension with external alterations after demolition of a sun lounge. And this one has plans and elevations, and 28 The Meadow is 3 down from the Green Lane entrance into the meadow, the footpath entrance into the meadow on, if you're coming from the park direction, on the left-hand side. And that's the proposal. It's a sort of a small extension right across the back of the house, and a part of it protruding further into the garden. And that's the current with the conservatory, and that's the proposal. So some roof lights facing towards the neighbours, but high enough, I would have suggest high enough up that it's not likely to cause a problem. I guess that's an opinion. So that's the proposal. Councillor Brown.
I would propose no objection. Can't see any planning reason to object.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Berry. Show of hands then for those who have no objection. Okay, that's unanimous as well. That's it. Okay, that's all 9. So then staring at number 9, thinking, hang on, we've done that. Okay. Thanks everybody for that. Then we move on to decisions received. And we note that 1 Woodlands Cottage, Bunkers Hill, rear and side single-storey extension was permitted. We had no objection. Brymore and Ocean House Business Parklands Business Park, change of use. Prior approval was not required. We didn't make any comment. We had commented on the previous application and were ignored, so we saw no reason there. And when I was up there on Monday, I noted that both buildings are Harris fenced off, and the grass inside is growing quite well. And that's Brymore House, and the next one is Ocean House. I don't quite understand why one's called Brymore House and Ocean House and one's just Ocean House, but they were both not required. Denmead Grange Care Home, Silver Birch Tree application was permitted by the tree officer, and we deferred to the tree officer. Providence Villas Soap Road, which we've just discussed, was withdrawn, and we agreed to defer it to the tree officer. I suspect he'd visited and suggested they changed what they'd asked for. And Cat Bells, Four Adams Lane, which basically turned the bungalow into a house, was permitted, and we had no objection. So those are the decisions. Okay. Item 9, new planning applications. I've seen one.
One.
Yeah, we've got one new one so far. Began to wonder how many we're going to have for this meeting, the way they kept coming in. Either a lot of people are suddenly woken up to make applications, or Winchester have suddenly put a match through. Item 10, Carpenter's Field. An email has been sent to Winchester City Council. You've had a copy. No response has been received yet, which is basically because Winchester have agreed to take over the green space at Carpenter's Field, which the parish council has said we will not take. So they're into their year of taking it, and rather expecting us to take it after that time. So we have reminded them that the parish council has a resolution not to accept certainly not to accept the northern open space. Councillor Brown.
I was speaking to a resident on Sunday who confirmed that Winchester have taken it over.
Yeah.
However, she is being charged by the company that are doing the ground, or the groundworks ground, the maintenance company, and paid it. So, well, Winchester are clearly taking it over, but there's a maintenance company for the rest of the areas, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a maintenance company for the stuff that the small areas of grassland and hedgerow, etc., that were never meant to be coming to us. Yeah. There is meant to be a charge on the householders. If that maintenance company is actually doing Winchester's job for them, then I'm sure Winchester will be quite pleased. But we'll note that and see if we can ascertain whether Winchester are cutting the grass around there on the Amwell Green, etc. Okay, so we await Mr. Dunbar-Dempsey's response.
Is that something we can chase up, because the grass on the large green and the other area haven't been cut, and they're probably a foot tall, or it was the last time I saw?
Well, I think we can ask Joe to point out to Mr. Dunbar-Dempsey that they may have taken over the land, but there doesn't seem to be any maintenance going on.
No.
Whether he's actually remembered to pass that on to Winchester maintenance team is another matter. So, okay. Item 11 is social media to discuss and determine action. Sorry.
You missed new planning applications.
No, I didn't.
Oh, sorry.
Just one.
There's one.
Oh, sorry.
I think you missed.
I fell asleep on that part.
Okay. Social media, discuss and determine action on what content should be added to the parish council's social media channels. I think last time we said we'd put up what we'd agreed on the planning applications, but 9 is rather excessive. Well, possibly. Councillor Langer-Smith?
We could post the new applications as they come in.
Yeah, that would.
We could.
I already do it once a week. The
Yeah.
whole lot.
Joe normally does it once a week.
Right. We could just do a sort of sharing of information like that, or we can, which would be fairly dry, let's say. And I'd really like us to use an opportunity to make our communications with the community less dry, more engaging, more informative, more involved, more sharing, so that we positively influence our reputation.
Okay, Councillor Langer-Smith.
I think you have to be very careful with planning applications, because anything else that you say, you're either providing an opinion or potentially influencing the outcome of the committee discussion. So I think for planning it does need to be factual and factually only.
I think if we're saying that
Hang on, Councillor Rowan.
I think the list of applications, because at the last meeting we were accused of not informing people of notifying members of the public that applications were on there. And I think a social media...
Well, I think that was a case of somebody in Edney's Lane bemoaning the fact that they only happened to notice that there was an application for Tanner's Lane after they'd... yes, Councillor Carson.
Yeah, I totally agree about your comments about how we have to be careful about the planning applications. But I'd also like to see us putting out stuff that is more of in the bag of what I sort of suggested. Things that we might not normally consider to share with the community. Interesting facts, some stats about planning. You know, how many applications did we handle and did the council handle in the last 12 months? What? Just some numbers. Did you know? Anything that promotes our position.
That went into the Parish Assembly and into the DMC.
It's just a suggestion.
Yeah. It is hard to see how we can be interesting about the planning about the planning really, in terms of we have to, as Councillor Langford-Smith said, we have to be careful not to even be thought of as possibly prejudging or trying to influence other people. So saying what the applications we will be discussing, and I think last time we said we'd put up what we actually decided, but I'm kind of reluctant to ask Joe to post a result of 9 applications. But okay, Councillor Carson.
Again, I don't disagree with what you said. However, I think there's 2 elements, right? And I think what I see as being able to positively use social media for getting the parish more involved, getting our reputation up, is very different to the things that you're talking about. And it may be, we can do an article about trees. You know, it doesn't have to be dull, dry, and just numerical.
Okay, Councillor Brown.
I would see that more that that's something for DMC. That's an article that you can put some work into, and it's can be.
To be honest, I think that the other committees and the main council have more interesting, shall we say, things that they can tell the public than the fact that tonight we sat here and discussed 9 planning applications, and not a lot else really. Councillor Langford-Smith.
Occasionally, snippets come through on things like from the planning portal. So, as you say, stories about changes in legislation and things that might affect people that are wanting to put in planning applications. So when those kind of things come up, we can post about those, but that's more sharing other people's information. But yeah, I mean, I do agree that we need to be more engaged. And but when the articles come up, we can send them on to Joe for posting.
Yeah. There was a rather dry and disappointing one. This came through. Was it yesterday that you sent through? You sent out.
Updates to agricultural permitted development rights and prior approval notifications.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I thought it was quite interesting, but the way it was worded was very dry, but that's because that's the legislative aspect. I'm sure it could be toned down to make it a bit more interesting or exciting. But it's going to be of interest to those with agricultural land and buildings as opposed to the majority of the village. Councillor Brown.
I'm conscious of the fact that we're putting this onto Joe, and it's more and more things that we're trying to add into putting onto Facebook.
Well, at the moment we have decided anything to this time.
Yeah, but if we're looking about putting, it would be a link, I presume, to that paper or whatever.
All you do is cut and paste the text. It's very straightforward.
Okay.
well, we could ask Joe to post that one if you like, which is effectively making it easier for agricultural building owners to convert them.
To houses in the countryside.
Councillor Brown?
The only slight issue we have with that, with an election coming up, it may change.
Well, they've just changed the legislation, so as of today, the new rules are in effect. Yeah, I mean, so the next government may indeed change them, and I think whoever's in government, the chances are they're going to change the planning policy yet again to by however much we don't really know, but successive governments have announced that they're going to make sweeping changes to planning, and we all have to try and live with those. And successive governments have recently said build, and there's not been vast amounts of building. So whoever's in power from the 5th of July may well change the planning, but the planning law that we're talking about changed today. Yeah, so...
but I think I agree with this. We just got to keep our eye open. If we see something which is a story that could be given a bit of bite, then we should consider it.
Well, yes. Well, we're just asking Joe to post that one up, cut and paste that one. We can ask her to post the result of our discussions tonight on 9 applications, but I really...
put all the tree applications in one fell swoop. That's considered.
But there's a heck of a lot of even cutting and pasting to describe what people are asking, so...
Yeah.
I'm kind of reluctant to...
I agree with that. People want to know they should
it's not going to be exciting and interesting
No.
unless it's your tree application or your neighbour's. It's just going to be a fair bit of work for Joe and a lot of boring for the people who see it. Councillor Carson doesn't agree.
There's just a complete separation between the types of communication that I feel that we need within the village and the boring and dull stuff. And if all we put out is boring and dull stuff...
But we're talking about the planning committee.
Yes, I'm talking about that.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying...
It's how creative you are with the work that we do as to whether there are hidden areas that are less boring.
Councillor Brown.
Can I suggest that Councillor Carson comes up with some ideas and brings it to the next meeting, seeing as she has the ideas?
Okay. Anyway, we have something to post, to ask Joe to post, but not all 9 decisions. Matters to the next agenda?
Sorry, Chair, if you're posting one, you must post all, because we have to treat every application equitably.
I didn't think we were going to post one.
That's fine. If we're not posting any, then that's fine. We're treating them all the same.
I think posting about 9 is just over the top, personally. Yeah. I mean, I don't... and I'm seeing nods around the room, apart from Councillor Carson. Councillor Brown.
Can we...
All right, sorry.
Can we not put on there something about decisions can be found on... and a link to our website so that people can see what our decisions are? If that is that a way of doing it, rather than putting each one on there, because it might not be the only time we get 9 applications.
Biggest set we've had is 13, I think. Are they on the website, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought they were, but I wasn't. The minutes are, of course, aren't they? So yeah, we can post it. I think post a link to the minutes, so if you want to know what we decided on the 29th. But I can't believe that many people were going to look, to be honest. Shall we move on then to item 12, matters of the next agenda? Anything from anybody? No. Okay. Confidential report then. Pass a resolution in accordance with the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960 to exclude public and press for discussion relating to the following and to receive the confidential report and the enforcement report from the committee clerk. enforcement issues and notices, tree preservation orders.